People of Earth, we have come to upgrade your cosmic consciousness. DNA activation ready. In 3, 2, 1.
Hi, welcome to Q&A on Breakthrough Leadership. I'm Lou Quinto.
And I'm Craig Anderson.
Our topic we'll cover today is going to be, do I need an executive coach? This is a question a lot of people have been asking themselves lately. Executive coaching has become in vogue when it comes to improving your performance at work, home, in life in general. And so what we'll do is, as usual, we'll look at three specific areas to address that topic. The first area is going to be, what is an executive coach? The second area is, why do I even need one? And then the last area is going to be, what should I expect if I hire an executive coach? So Craig, why don't you kick it off and tell us, what's an executive coach?
Sure. Well, for this one, I went ahead and pulled out my old textbook from when I went through to get my coaching certification.
So you didn't sell those after you
I
took
did
class,
not sell them
your
back
books
for beer
Okay.
money, no. But I did keep them. And really what an executive coach is, it's a relationship, it's a catalyzing relationship between two individuals that helps that individual achieve their goals faster and have more success. And that's really what an executive coach does. If you think about it, it's, Tiger Woods has not an executive coach, but a swing coach. If you want to lose weight, you get a nutrition coach. If you want to get fit, you get a personal training coach.
Right.
An executive coach is no different. An executive coach is someone that you hire because you want to achieve your goals faster and you want to have more success. And the executive coach is someone who comes alongside you and helps you with that.
Okay, all right. And in many instances, executive coaching really has not been around a very long time, or at least hasn't been as popular as it is lately. Nowadays, you talk to somebody and they'll want, that's one of the things, it's not who's your therapist anymore, it's who's your executive coach.
That's right.
And it provides that opening of conversation. But people actually, when it comes to executive coaching, if they really want to improve their behaviors, if they want to improve their performance, they need an executive coach.
Oh, yeah.
Which leads us into the next area is, why do I need one?
Right.
And I always tell people, executive coaching is, there's still that mentality. Executive coaching is for those people who are low performers,
Right.
Or mediocre performers. But a lot of people don't realize that even the top performers, you mentioned Tiger Woods, before, a top performer, why is he continually being coached? And I always tell people, you need an executive coach if you feel that you've hit a plateau. So you can be good at what you are, you can be a top performer, but can you go even further? Because one of the advantages of having an executive coach is obviously for more income, more wealth. And so if you're in a situation where you're at the top of your game, a lot of people like to rest on their laurels and think, well, I've made it, when you actually haven't, because things change. Yeah. And there's, they say there's that learning curve that we have. And a lot of times when we get to the top of the learning curve, people stop learning and it just becomes a plateau or a flat line, like in the hospital, that heart beep, 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 it just becomes a flat line. But in a career, it could be very similar to that also.
Sure.
Where it's beep, 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 and then there's just a flat line. And that's why a lot of people never advance any further than they do, because they don't have that pushing.
Well, it's, I think for me, I like working with people who have had success and are trying to figure out how to get to the next level. So I think there is that, there's a book out there, what got you here won't get you there, right? So there's things that you have done that have gotten you to this point in your career and you've had a lot of success, but, the dirty little secret about success is it creates an expectation for more success. Right. And sometimes you need to think through new strategies or decide what's working and what's not. And what an executive coach brings to the table for you as you're going through that process is, what do I need to change? Helps you brainstorm. Doesn't give you the ideas, but actually helps you kind of figure out, what do I need to rethink? Right. What, directionally, where do I need to go? And sometimes even you need somebody to ask you the hard questions that you may not even be willing to ask yourself. And you don't want to get from your boss or from a subordinate who may not always give you the executive coach is there for you. They solely exist to help you be more successful in your career.
Right.
There are still coaches out there who work with kind of low performers trying to pull people up. I know some of those people who really enjoy that kind of work. And, if I have somebody who's come to me with that, I usually refer those out to those people because that's kind of where their sweet spot is. But, it's really a challenge of, you need an executive coach because you want to, as you said, you want to get to the next level, and it's time to try some new things and think through some new strategies. It could even be, hey, I've been a really successful sales rep. Now I'm a sales manager for the first time.
Right.
Those traits and skills that got you into that role are not necessarily the traits and skills that are going to make you successful as a sales manager, and an executive coach can help you kind of work through those issues.
Yeah, and we all have our comfort zone. So obviously those skills that we learned before, we try to put them into the new role, and a lot of times those skills don't exactly fit up.
Right.
We need those new skills. And so a lot of times when you need an executive coach is a change in a position in your company, in what you're doing. So if I'm in the market for a coach, what should I look for in a coach?
Sure. Well, I think, there's as Lou, as you said earlier, right, there's a lot of coaches out there right now. And so it doesn't take a whole lot of work to set yourself up as a coach. You just create a website and say, I'm a coach. So the first thing I would say I'd want to look for when I'm looking for coaches, are they trained? Are they certified? Have they gotten their certifications? Because anyone can put them out there, and you can put yourself out as a life coach at 18. But you can certainly do that. But I think one thing is, what have they done? And then who have they worked with? Do they have any referrals that they can provide to you? Do they kind of align with what I need? Do they have an experience and skill set that I think will be complementary to what I'm trying to do? So I think that's kind of the starting point when you're looking.
Yeah. And the other thing too, in addition to credentials, experience, certification, and if it's there, is the personality match between you and your coach. I mean, you don't want to hire someone who has got good certification, got great experience and everything, but you just don't mesh with that person because that won't work. And so a lot of times it's like looking for a candidate for a job. You've got your requirements that you want, must have an advanced degree and things like that. But a lot of times those people with all those requirements aren't that perfect personality fit.
Right.
And those are that's something that you truly need to take into consideration is, does this person fit my personality? And then second, do they fit my budget? Because when it comes to executive coaching, you get prices that range anywhere from $100 to, we talked about Tony Robbins, $15,000 a session, or who was the other one that you brought?
Malcolm Gladwell, which is even more than that.
And I think Tony Robbins might be a little bit higher than that too.
Yeah.
But you're probably looking at, do I have the budget? And so if you're looking at $100 to $500 per session, what do I have that in my budget? Is this going to be a 3-month engagement? Is it going to be a 6-month engagement? Is it going to be a year engagement? And so when you're looking at that coach, what you should look for is, does it fit your pocketbook or the budget that your company has?
But, I think one thing, too, when you're looking at it, is the reason you're hiring an executive coach is to enhance your performance. So, if you can hire a coach to come in that'll get your annual bonus from 2% to 5%, that's a great return on that investment. So if you're spending $100, $200, $500 an hour, you need to look at this. This is really an investment in yourself. And I think, what are you willing to spend on yourself? So if your health is at risk, you're willing to spend a gym membership and you have a personal trainer and pay $700 a month because you want to get healthy.
Right. As long as you use the membership.
Absolutely.
And coaching is the same way.
Yeah.
You got to use the coaching.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you need to look at this as kind of a return on my investment when you're looking for a coach.
Yeah. And the other thing too is that, when it comes to companies, because there are still some companies who they question executive coaching.
Yeah.
And so if this is going to be something that's going to come out of your pocket, or it's going to be shared by you and the company, that needs to be taken into consideration.
Yep, absolutely.
So let's go ahead. Key takeaways. Why don't you ramp everything up here?
Well, yeah, we'll tee it up as one. I think, the big thing for me in coaching is this is about, how am I going to make myself better and how am I going to hold myself to a higher bar? I'm an executive coach, so obviously this all sounds very self-serving. But I have a coach because for me, I need that coach behind me. And as I look back, just for me over the last couple of years, I've gone through some pretty big transitions in my life. And throughout that, the thing that I had was a coach that helped me, be that on fitness or be that on, changing and starting a new business. Having that coach there was really important. And so I think for me, it's the fact that there's somebody there whose sole concern and sole focus is helping you be successful. And how many of us really have that person who comes to us without an agenda, who just wants us to be successful, and that's a pretty rare thing.
Yeah. My key takeaway is when you're looking for a coach, you need to have someone who fits your personality. They've got to laugh at the same jokes you laugh at, read the same type of book, someone that you would want to go out on a regular basis and have a cup of coffee with.
Yeah.
You don't become friends, but there's got to be a meshing. And then the other thing too is your budget. you need to know what you're going to spend on a coach, because if not, you could get sticker shock and think, oh, I want to get an executive coach, but then you start looking at coaches who are highly recommended, who have a lot of experience and all the certification. But then when you start looking at their prices, that's when you go, oh, well, maybe I can keep doing things myself. Yeah. So really look at personality and look at budget to make sure that fits in to your situation.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
So, if you like this episode on coaching, please go ahead and subscribe, share this with people that you work with that may be thinking about or looking at an executive coach. Because truly, if you want to get to the next level, getting that help, having someone turn the mirror around on you to get you to see what you're doing will definitely help you to propel you to that next level. So, we hope you've enjoyed this episode of Q&A on Breakthrough Leadership. I'm Lou Quinto.
And I'm Craig Anderson.